My husband and I had so much fun during March Sandwich Month that we decided to do a similar experiment with Curry Month in May.
A few Indian and Thai curries are already on our regular rotation, but with the added challenge of using a different protein for each curry, I had to try some new curries I'd never made before. So here are the 13 curries I made during our curry month. And just a content warning, this video contains eating and eating noises throughout. If that bothers you, just don't watch the video. I start by making my own green curry paste from scratch because the store-bought stuff is just not it. It really lacks the freshness that a good homemade curry paste can give. This green curry paste has chilies and herbs and a lot of other delicious things in it. A lot of coconut cream, that's what makes it tasty. Some vegetables, snow peas, eggplant, peppers, the curry sauce, and tofu, and that's your green curry, along with some Thai iced tea, lime wedges, and fresh herbs, and a little jasmine rice on the side.
We kicked off the month with Thai green curry, which is one of my absolute favorite curries of all time, probably one of my favorite meals of all time. And I have a video already up showing how I made this. So go watch that if you want to see how I made it. Now I'm going to eat it because it's been a while since I've had it. And Thai iced tea, this is the best. Behold. Ooh, yes. Sweet caffeine surging through my veins. All right, let's finally eat some of this. It's so incredibly bright and fresh. And the spice hits you after the fact. Like right now it's hitting me. I'm probably about to start hiccuping. Whoop, there we go. Gives me the hiccups, but ooh, it's so worth it. I love it. I can't talk.
Just like with the green curry, I make my red curry paste from scratch. It has a lot of similar ingredients, but there's red chilies in it, which gives it its red flavor. I use coconut cream and some other vegetables, well, mostly fruits technically, and leftover roasted duck in this delicious curry.
Okay, day number 2 and 4 later, because there's 4 servings. This is my husband's favorite Thai curry. It's red curry with duck, and there's cherry tomatoes, pineapple, pumpkin, and snow peas, and some other aromatics. And I already actually did a video on how to make this a while ago. It's in a pumpkin recipe compilation video. I have a link in the video description. We'll see if this one gives me the hiccups. So this curry is definitely heartier than the green one. The green one's very fresh and very refreshing. I mean, because it's very green vegetable-y. This one, though, has a lot of heartier fruits, really. Pumpkin, tomato, and pineapple are all fruit, and they all have sugar in them. I used kabocha this time for the pumpkin. I think that's a good pumpkin for this curry. One, because it's an Asian pumpkin, but also just, it's starchier. I think that actually works well with this curry. No hiccups yet, woohoo! But yeah, like all Thai food, you have the excitement of just the sweet, sour, spicy, salty, umami, fat, all together. Just the volume on the flavor of Thai food is just at 10, which is one of the reasons why I love Thai food so much. Indian food, same flavor, is just dialed up to 10, but Thai food in particular, because like every single different taste that you can receive is just enhanced in Thai food and balanced really well. Duck. I wish duck were more popular in the US so that it would be cheaper, because it's so good. It's one of my favorite meats.
This curry starts by sautéing and browning some nuts and some coconut and pulsing them into a paste. There's also mushrooms, of course, because it is mushroom curry, as well as capsicums and sweet peppers in some oil, as well as the usual suspect spices, curry leaves, red onions, ginger garlic paste, and tomato and turmeric and water and the nut combination to turn it all into a nice sauce. And you saute that for a while, add garam masala, fenugreek leaves, the sauteed veggies from earlier, and that's your mushroom curry.
And here it is in all its glory. This is days 5 through 7, I believe, vegan mushroom curry. Confession, this is actually my second day eating it. So I already know how I feel about it. It is delicious. I mean, I guess if you don't like mushrooms, you're not gonna like it. We do love mushrooms, however, so we like it. Actually, my husband isn't as wild about it as I am, but I really like it quite a bit, and I'm definitely making this again. It tastes incredibly complex, and I swear, it's vegan. I'm eating butter turmeric rice on the side, so that part's not vegan. But the curry itself is vegan, and I swear, like, it tastes like it has meat in it. Between the toasted nuts and coconut and the mushrooms and all the other things in there and the spices, it tastes like it has meat in it. So if you're one of those meat eaters who like wants to eat more vegetarian or vegan food, something like this is great because it tastes like it has meat in it, honest to God.
Well, looky here, this is Vintage Sarah. I made this video like 8 or 9 years ago of me making Japanese curry. So basically, you make a stew with meat and vegetables. In this case, I'm using pork. And at the very end, you add the roux from the box. And that's what turns it into a curry. Simple.
And we are into week number 2 with Japanese curry rice, or kare rice. This protein is pork. I find that this curry works best with pork, at least for my taste. Beef is also pretty good. And the trick is, do not follow the box instructions. They tell you to only cook it for like 20 minutes or something. With chicken or shrimp or something like that, that would work. But with pork or beef, you really want to simmer it slowly for like 3 hours to get that meat nice and tender. Anyway, for those of you who speak Japanese, I would describe this flavor as very natsukashi. It really brings back memories. I'll show you the box. I got okara, I think. Yeah, okara, which is like super spicy in Japanese. This is not super spicy. I mean, if you don't handle spicy food very well, this might be a good gateway curry for you because it's very mild. It's a little on the sweeter side, also quite salty since it's processed food. Basically, this box contains dried roux, which is fat and flour, mixed with a bunch of spices. And if you look at the spice list, it's like curry powder is like one of the main ingredients. So yeah, it's a Japanese take on curry, and it's still really tasty, okay? But yeah, it's kind of, to me, it's like halfway between a stew and a curry. Although curry is like stew. It's like halfway between an American stew and an Indian curry. But yeah, very mild, natsukashi aji, really nice. My husband had some earlier and he didn't seem too impressed with it though.
This is a recipe I reverse engineered from Grandpa Kitchen. You start with some oil and some spices, onion, ginger garlic paste, chicken thighs, capsicum, spices, tomatoes, the usual suspects in Indian curry. Meanwhile, you make a fragrant coconut rice with aromatics, coconut milk, and basmati rice, and some fresh herbs. Lovely. And you add some final spices, curry leaves, and fresh herbs into your curry, and behold.
So this is my reverse engineered Grandpa's Kitchen chicken curry with coconut rice. This one's for you, Grandpa. This became just an instant favorite of mine. My husband's, he likes it okay, but it's not his favorite. I just love it so much though. It's very coconutty, because you get the coconut in both. I like this dish also because it uses a lot of the same ingredients in both dish. So they really complement each other really super well. I like the curry. It's nice and light. Yeah, what else can I say? Oh, it's nice and fresh. This is like the only Indian dish that I make so far that uses mint. And it is better with fresh mint, but my own homegrown dried mint works pretty well too. And yeah, the black cardamom, star anise, cinnamon, those warming spices combined with the coconut make it a little bit sweet, which is also really nice. And yeah, I was just really excited to finally use black cardamom in something. It's a really cool spice, and I need to use it more.
make a stew with some spices, some water, some onions, ginger garlic paste, and lentils, and then you make a ghee and spice infusion. This is really what's going to give it its flavor. There's a little tomato in the stew as well. You basically cook it till the lentils are tender. And then some fenugreek leaves, and then you add that ghee spice mixture while your camera lens fogs. Make some naan because naan is amazing.
Okay, I tasted it as I was cooking it and it's delicious, so this isn't technically the first time trying dal, but this is my first time making proper dal with red lentils. So the protein for this curry is lentils. It's not quite vegan because I used ghee in the spice oil thing at the end. I like it a lot. I mean, if I had to be vegan or vegetarian, like Indian food is definitely a great thing to have. And I made some naan to go with it. This is actually my first naan of the month. It's so good. I was just way too busy with work to bother making naan for the other curries, but my husband does not like vegetarian and vegan food as much as I do, and he's been like poo-pooing this dal, like dal. So at least he'll be happy about the naan because the naan is actually his favorite part of Indian food.
Caught this beautiful red snapper myself. No, actually, I got it at the farmer's market, but isn't it lovely? Fresh fish makes all the difference. Some onions and capsicum, tamarind juice, coconut oil, a lot of spices, onion, capsicum, and I just kind of winged this as I went along, loosely following Grandpa Kitchen in his fish curry method. Tomato, other spices, red chilies, curry leaves, what looks like cumin, turmeric, coriander, and red chili. And then that tamarind juice. Tamarind is really nice, tangy fruit if you've never had it before. It's in a lot of Southeast Asian cooking and some Indian cooking. Water, and turn that into a nice sauce before adding some salt. I believe I added a little sugar, some coconut, and fish at the end. This fish really was incredibly fresh, springy, not at all fishy in aroma, which is what you want in a good fish. Just submerge that and poach it in the liquid until it is done. Taste the sauce to make sure it's good, find out it's good, and eat it. Okay, this is the first time I've ever had Indian seafood curry, and I just kind of winged this. I sort of used Grandpa Kitchen as inspiration, and when I was tasting the broth earlier to adjust for seasoning, I could taste the actual fish in the broth. So let's see. Well, that is so nice. I just bit into a peppercorn. I put whole black peppercorns in the rice. So yeah, the rice I seasoned with coconut oil and just some spices. A little bit, very subtle. And then the fish curry, woo! That tamarind juice is really nice. It adds a nice tang that really complements the fish super well. And I was worried that the spices would be overpowering and you wouldn't be able to taste the fish because fish is a pretty mild flavor. But this is great. I can taste the fish throughout. Success! So interesting method here. You hard boil eggs and then you fry them in oil before starting the curry. Didn't work that well for me. They stuck to the bottom of the pan, but there you go. Build the sauce like any other Indian curry, ginger garlic paste, minced onion, a lot of spices, and some fat, and build your sauce with way too many tomatoes. I added way too many tomatoes. I think I just wanted to get rid of a whole can. Add the eggs and cream. That always helps curry. When in doubt, add cream. Always makes things tastier. I didn't say anything while I was eating this, and to be honest, it wasn't really that. I wasn't that impressed by it. It was good. This is yet another curry that I have a video of on this channel. So one of our favorite curries, I used leftover roast leg of lamb and a lot of spices, vinegar, tomatoes, chicken broth, potatoes, as Samwise would say, and stew that until the meat is tender. Keep stewing until it's tender.
So it is May 18th, and I decided to make a good old standby. You can't see it because the rice is hiding it. Lambvindaloos, so this protein is lamb. And this is my husband's favorite curry and his favorite food of all time, this Lambvindaloo. So needless to say, I cook it like once every month, once every 1 to 2 months or so. I've also made garlic naan and some butter turmeric rice. And this is a very good curry. It's also one of my favorite curries, partly just because I love lamb. I've made it also sacrilegiously with beef, and it's great with beef. I've also made it with goat, great with goat. This curry really wants red meat because it's very, very bold flavors. The vinegar is very distinctive. And this curry is such a big hit in our household that I always make like a double batch of it, and which is good because that's like 10 servings of curry. And my husband and I are going to get our second vaccination today, and we had some pretty bad side effects after the first poke. We were both like very sickly, very lethargic, in pain for like 3-4 days after. So good thing I've got like, 10 servings of this total, and I still have a couple servings of egg curry left over, so I'm not going to have to cook for like 5-6 days. So I planned ahead. Oh, and another thing I'll mention about this curry is that it is Indian-Portuguese fusion. It's not strictly an Indian curry, which is cool. I didn't want all of the curries this month to be Indian curries. I wanted to have a variety. Ooh, and speaking of which, I was recalibrating, looking at my curry schedule and realizing I needed another curry, and my husband gave me a really cool idea for a curry for the end of the month. It'll be a little twist of a curry and a surprise.
That's a flank steak. And these are what you usually find as toppings for pho: bean sprouts, limes, cilantro, and chilies, and that's frozen duck broth. And this is a homemade Malaysian curry paste. It has tamarind and a lot of the stuff you'd find in a Thai red paste. And these are some rice noodles. So I sauteed the curry paste in some coconut oil, and it smells amazing. Then I added some frozen duck broth. Duck and beef go well together, and coconut milk. And then sear that flank steak. Then the noodles, the broth, the bean sprouts, and the fresh cilantro and Fresno chilies, and the sliced steak, and some cashews, and some limes.
Okay, my first time trying laksa. I'm excited because I love Vietnamese food. This kind of reminds me of like a cross between pho and Thai curry. I tasted just the broth earlier and it was very spicy, but I have a feeling all these other ingredients here are gonna mellow things out a bit, and I am gonna squeeze my fresh lime into it. A lot of Southeast Asian cuisine is all about the balance of sour, sweet, spicy, umami, salty. Okay, let's try a piece of beef, because this is the protein this time, beef. That's so good. This is also, incidentally, my first time cooking flank steak. Let's try some noodles. My noodles are really good because they soak up the soup a little bit. Ooh, this is a winner. I'm glad I have extra laksa paste left over in the freezer so I can make this again sometimes. This is really nice. Fresno chili. They're barely spicy. Oh, that one was actually a little spicy. Ooh, that one was actually spicy.
I also have a video on how to make this. I'm making my homemade paneer from scratch out of milk and vinegar and salt, and I make a spinach spice paste, and you saute onions and butter with some tomatoes and some bay leaves and some other aromatics, and you add that spinach spice paste and stew it, and then you add that homemade paneer and cream. Cream makes everything better, and yum.
Okay, one of our favorite curries. I make this all the time and for good reason. It's just good. First time I had this, it was with tofu instead of paneer, and I really liked it as well. So if you're vegan, you can make this with margarine and coconut cream instead of the dairy products, and then tofu.
You start with soaked raw cashews. These have been soaked overnight. They plump up and they cook a lot better. I mean, they don't really technically have to cook. Saute some onions and some garlic and ginger and curry leaves and some coconut oil, followed up by salt and a lot of other spices. And then you use coconut milk to build this sauce. And you simmer the sauce for a while and simmer the cashews, and that's really it.
Okay, this is my first time trying this Sri Lankan cashew curry. It is also a vegan curry, so the protein in this one is obviously cashews. It's pretty much just cashews, coconut milk, and like aromatics like some ginger, garlic, onion, and a lot of spices. And then I just made some simple basmati rice on the side. Let's see how we taste. Yeah, it's good, pretty simple. And after a month of curries, it really is simple.
So I'm making a mushroom onion gravy and some duck fat, and these are some potatoes I'm soaking to turn into fries. I'm going to poach them first. There's duck broth, curry powder, and ginger garlic paste for my curry sauce. And this is venison roast, my first time cooking venison roast, and cheese curds. The usual suspects for poutine. This is the venison roast, raw. And I'm making the sauce with ginger garlic paste, minced mushrooms, minced onions, curry powder, and a little flour, and some duck fat. And it smelled and tasted amazing. And adding some duck broth, so it's a duck curry sauce. Wild game to go with wild game. And I'm just searing off the venison loin roast with some salt before putting it in the oven to roast at a lower temperature for a while until it is hopefully pink on the inside. I overcooked it slightly. And the potatoes I've poached before frying, and I just cooked down the gravy. And now I'm frying the fries.
And the last day, venison, poutine with duck as well, and cheese curds. Lots of proteins going on in this one. I'm just gonna eat it really quickly because I don't want it to get all soggy. My husband's gonna eat this too. There's curry in the gravy. And venison, sort of tertiary. That's really tasty. Good, because it costs $40.
So all in all, it was a delicious month, though it did get a bit monotonous at times. My least favorite curry wound up being the cashew curry. After a couple bites, it just got way too tedious to chew, and it was just not as tasty as the other curries. Aside from our pre-existing favorite curries like the Lambvindaloo, Palak Paneer, Thai, green and red curries, my new favorite curries were the dal, laksa, and the curry poutine. I will definitely be adding these 3 curries to our regular rotation. What was your favorite curry? I'm really interested to know. Thanks for watching, and thanks to my patrons, Gina, Honey Badgers, Veda, Megan B, Megan M, and Chrissy.